Hey everyone, this is Eliana, and in today's video I want to talk to you about content creation and why sometimes, or a lot of times, you can create great educational content that's sharing a lot of value with your potential client and they still don't buy. So I saw a post last week on LinkedIn, someone was saying educational content doesn't work, it doesn't get you clients. And frankly, I was very annoyed, even I would say angry about that, which surprised me because I can't remember the last time I got angry, let alone about someone with an opinion on the internet. But it made me curious, why did I care so much about this? And maybe there's some nugget of truth in it that I am rejecting, or something that I'm resisting, otherwise I wouldn't be frustrated with that comment. But I thought about it and I realized that yes, there is some truth to that. And the truth is, creating great educational, helpful content that changes people's lives does not automatically get buyers or get clients. And this can be frustrating for people who are putting a ton of effort into creating, high value content and scratching their heads in why is it not getting me clients. Now, I will preface by saying that I don't believe that content creation should be for the sole purpose of getting clients, okay? There's a difference between conversion-based content marketing versus content creation, which is a form of self-expression. And it can be a way to serve, it can be a way to express yourself, talk about something that you're passionate about while also creating value for other people. But I know a lot of creators, solopreneurs, small business owners don't have a ton of time and energy to create content. And let's be real, a big part of why they're doing it is to get clients. Myself included, by the way. When I started creating videos, at first my intention was only because of Brands Are Alive and getting clients. It evolved into something that I genuinely enjoy and love, and I'm doing it mostly for service because I love it and because it helps other people, but it's still part of my marketing strategy. So anyway, so why is your content not getting clients? Another note here is, just because you're not getting enough clients doesn't mean the problem is in your content. It could be a lot of things. It could be your offer, it could be a lot of things. But here we're just going to focus on troubleshooting this one particular issue. I see the delivery guy coming and there may be an interruption. But anyway, so today's video is great content doesn't equal buyer. Why is that? What does that mean? What's missing here? And two, I want to talk to you about the 3 levels of attention. I knew it. The 3 levels of attention, or 3 levels of building a relationship, because business is about relationships and is about building relationships at scale, right? So how do you get attention and maintain it and then turn that attention into a transaction of this sort, a purchase? And I want to talk to you about how there is a huge misconception on what it means to have an audience versus a follower. And a lot of people confuse these two, and they think that a follower is an audience. They think that every time they're getting somebody to follow them on social media, that is a potential client, when in reality, there's a huge difference between follower, audience, and then buyer. Okay, so first and foremost, why great content does not equal buyers? Well, the thing about buying is that usually people buy because they're looking for a transformation or result of some sort. You've heard this before, I think. Not always, as always, there is an exception, but this is generally the case, okay? So if you create a great piece that has a wealth of knowledge in it, but the person doesn't read it, or they read it but they don't process it properly, they don't understand it, or they understand it but they have no way of applying it, it hasn't caused a transformation or a change in their life. And when you think about content that converts, I want you to think about customer activation. Activation means that the person has experienced change or transformation of some sort, a value of some sort in their life as a result of your content. So in more practical or simpler terms, it means that the content that's going to really get somebody to go, oh, I want to buy from this person, is not necessarily the most knowledgeable, the most insightful, the greatest, most breakthrough type of content, although that's highly appreciated. But it is the type of content that provides them with some doable, actionable, reasonable, and effective, of course, advice that they can apply and will apply. So, you don't tell somebody, go run 500 miles right now, and go do XYZ, and you'll get ripped, because yeah, that's great and it's awesome, but you know that person is probably not going to do that. Likely they're not going to. So they're not going to do it, and they're not going to experience the difference, and therefore they're not going to be motivated to buy. So essentially, it's when somebody applies some piece of advice that you give to them. They apply your knowledge, they experience the change, the transformation as a result of applying your knowledge in their life. That result or that change is what usually, not always, but usually makes the person go, oh, if I can get this much value from this person, just from their free content, how much value can I get from working with them? You don't have to think about how do I create a complete transformation in a potential client. That's usually not very possible, but it can be a little something. So if you give them, let's say, a little template that can help them make sense of a little problem, a question that they can ask themselves that will help them get an answer. I don't know, there are tons of ways that you can help somebody get a specific result. A little exercise that's doable. Again, keep in mind something doable, something practical, something effective, of course, that actually works. The idea is that you want them to experience the value, experience the change, and not just in their own heads, but actually seeing the result in their own life and going, okay, I see this, I see how this would work. Okay, the next point I wanted to talk about is the 3 levels, I don't know if you can see it, 3 levels of attention: short, medium, and long. There are lots of books about this. One of my favorite books on this topic is called Captivology by Ben Parr. It talks about the 3 levels of attention, or attention in general. I don't remember if he calls them short, medium, and long, but that's kind of the concept. If you look at relationships or books on building relationships, kind of seems to follow the same pattern. Essentially, anytime you come in contact with a person or you build a relationship, which is absolutely necessary in business, of course, is that you're going to go through 3 phases. The first one is a short-term attention. And short-term attention means you get their attention, right? Like, you're never going to build a relationship with a person unless you get you get each other's attention. You notice each other's existence. There's, as of making this April 2022, I believe about 8 billion people on this planet, you know, billions on the internet. You come across hundreds of thousands of, you know, bits of information every hour. You have to get somebody's attention. So that's a short-term attention. That's why people recommend creating hooks and things like that, you know, in your content. You need to do that, unfortunately, in order to kind of break the pattern and stand out. So everything starts with that short-term attention. Now, there is the next level of that attention, which is the medium, which is basically the ability to sustain and maintain the attention. If you're walking by and something grabs your attention, let's say a flashy color or a loud sound or whatever, and you know, you stop what you're doing and you look and you realize it's not for you, you're just going to move on. You realize there's nothing there to care about. Oh, it's insignificant, and you just move on. The same way, does it catch your attention, and does it maintain your attention enough to create intrigue? At this level, I like to think of it as a level of intrigue or mystery. And that's not to, you know, try hard to be like a mysterious content creator or get people to like be, oh my God, like I'm so intrigued by this person. But it is about creating just enough intrigue for the person to want to engage longer. So again, if you create something like a hook that gets people's attention on a post on social media or on a video, but then the meat of your content is not connected to the means, the method that you got their attention, it's going to frustrate them. First of all, it's going to leave a sour taste in their mouths, and then they're going to move on. They're not going to pay attention. But if you're able to catch their short-term attention with the hook, and then the medium attention, maintain that with just remaining relevant and keeping them going basically to the next step and the next step and the next step. And you know, don't stress yourself. Like, you don't have to do this perfectly every time. It takes usually multiple touch points before a person decides that they want to be a customer. A lot of times multiple touch points before they even decide to follow or to even check out a profile or something. So it's okay. But essentially you do want to have that short term and then the medium, maintaining a little bit of intrigue. The goal of the hook or the short-term attention is to stop, break the pattern, stop what they're doing, and look and pay attention. The goal of this medium attention is to build enough intrigue that they ask the question, what else does this person have? If you're watching this video for the first time, you've never seen me before, and you found this topic, helpful, useful, you found that it was valuable to you, there's a good chance when you're done with this video, you're gonna click and you're gonna go to my channel, you're gonna go to wherever you're watching this, and you're gonna go, what else does this person have? Let me see if there's anything else for me that I can benefit from. So that's medium attention or medium-term attention. Now, long-term, it deals with trust. It deals with people knowing what to expect from you. So every time they come to your channel, or most of the time, they're getting good stuff. They're learning something. They're showing up consistently. They get used to what they expect from you. I want you to take a deep breath and repeat after me. I don't have to be fucking perfect every time, because this one really tripped me for a long time, where I was like, well, if trust is about consistency, then that means every single piece of content has to be stellar. Every piece of content has to be world class. The aim is to create great content every time. The aim is to make every encounter as close to perfection as possible. But don't beat yourself up, because not everything you create is going to be good. Like, you might watch this video and think this is great, and then go to my channel and it's like a 50-50. One video is awesome, and then the next video you're like, not for me. You move on to the next one. That's okay. That's just how it works, right? Like, it's not very likely that you're gonna find someone who resonates with every single thing you say and every single thing you create. So don't let that paralyze you, essentially, is what I'm saying here. But long term is really about trust. It's about consistency. It's about, am I seeing enough that I can consider this a relationship? And the thing is, when you think about relationships, think of it this way. All relationships happen through conversations. This is why I talk so much about content marketing, or content in general, even though my work is in building a brand of full self-expression, as you might know if you're familiar with my work. But your self-expression requires that you obviously express yourself. And how do you express yourself? By sharing your truth, by sharing your message. And sharing your message and your truth and building a genuine, authentic relationship with someone requires that you have real conversations. And conversations at scale, well, that's what content is that you create these kind of videos or posts, and I'm having a conversation with you, not trillions of people or hundreds or 10, it's one-to-one. I'm speaking to one person who is listening to this, and this person is absorbing whatever it is that they're absorbing from this video. They're gonna retain X. Not everyone is gonna hear things the same way from you. Not everyone is gonna retain the same things. Not everyone is gonna understand it the same way. That's okay, but you're having conversations at scale when you're creating content. And so that's how you want to think about it, is that trust is built on the back of conversations where you keep showing up authentically, and you genuinely care about the other person, and it just happens naturally. There's no formula, and if there is a formula, I don't know of it. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the difference between having a follower versus an audience versus a buyer. Now, follower, I don't really like the word, and I'm very big on self-leadership. I don't believe that we can lead others or want to lead others. I don't want to lead anybody. I definitely don't want to be led by anyone. I believe in self-leadership, and I believe in helping other people lean on their own self-leadership, and leaders, supporting other leaders. That's how I see it. People walking together, shoulder to shoulder. I don't really believe in, having followers. I wouldn't want people who are followers anyway. But that's the social term, right? Like, social media calls it followers, subscribers, whatever you want to call it. They're essentially people who have opted to hear from you at some level. Whenever you're thinking about a follower or a subscriber, think of it as someone who likely, most of the time, not always, just came through short term. Not everyone subscribed or followed because they had some breakthrough knowledge from you, or they thought that you are so absolutely mesmerizing and amazing. Sometimes it could be, oh, that's pretty good, I'm gonna subscribe to this person and see what, especially like when people are just mindlessly scrolling shorts or whatever. But this is why, even though I can get a lot of views on shorts, I lean more on creating longer videos, because I know that the people who are subscribing are people who have watched the long videos, who are actually genuinely an audience. And an audience, the difference between audience and follower is that follower is somebody who just thought, again, this is pretty cool, I'm gonna subscribe, may or may not watch your stuff, may or may not care, may or may not even know what your channel is about, what your brand is about, what your work is about. An audience, on the other hand, is somebody who has seen at least enough from you, like the medium level kind of attention, where they're like, you know what, I am interested. So far, I'm interested. And a big part of your audience is also people who have the long-term interest or long-term attention. People who have not only seen enough to think that your stuff is interesting, but they trust you and they come to you, they seek you out, and they look for your content. That's your audience. And within your audience, you're gonna have buyers whenever you have an offer for them. So your audience is made up of people who genuinely enjoy your presence, they like your energy, your vibe, they like your style and how you do things. But the only reason why they're not buyers is because maybe whatever it is you're offering is not for them, or is not for them right now. That's okay, because in the future, they may become buyers. They may know people who can become buyers. If they don't buy, that's also okay. There are people who are likely passionate about your work. They enjoy it. They're getting a lot of value from being around you. That's awesome. But there's a good chance they can become buyers. They can become buyers, even if they stay as a part of your audience forever. As soon as you provide them with an offer that makes sense for them to buy, that solves a problem or help them meet a specific desire, they're going to make a purchase. So within your audience, you can ask the question, hey, what do you struggle with right now? What kind of problems do you have that I can help you solve? Or, you just ask those kind of questions, have these conversations, and you can create offers based on what your audience tells you, and they'll be that much more likely to purchase than somebody who is a follower, basically. But just because they're not buying doesn't mean that they wouldn't make a potential buyer in the future. Again, the difference between follower versus audience versus buyer is that follower is somebody who likely thought that there was something interesting about you, there is some affinity, they get some good energy out of you, they just click and they're like, okay, I kind of like this person, I'm interested in this person, I'm interested in what they do. They may or may not become part of your audience if quote unquote nurtured, if nurtured with good conversations, good content that's relevant to them, that is intriguing enough to them, that maintains their medium level attention, they likely will become part of your audience if they're still feeling affinity with you, with your brand. And then when you offer something that is relevant to their current situation, that they would want to make a purchasing decision about this problem or desire that they have, that's when they can become a buyer. So that's it in a nutshell. Again, remember, content isn't just about getting clients or, you create content, people create content for lots of reasons. It's art, it's service, it's, yes, it is also a means to get clients. There are lots of reasons why you create content. Educational content, great content alone doesn't get you clients. It may build an audience, but it's not going to get you a client. If you want to get a buyer, if your piece of content, the goal from that specific piece of content is to get clients, is to get a sale, then you have to focus on activating the customer, the client, by giving them something that they can apply and get some result or some transformation, some change that makes them think, oh, I can see this working in my life. I already got value. I can experience change and transformation from this content, even if it's a tiny change, even if it's a little bit of help, a little bit of something that's not just theoretical knowledge, but something that's actually applicable in my life. They're more likely to see the investment as an investment rather than an expense. And remember, business relationships they're relationships. They're built on the back of conversations, the 3 levels of attention, short, medium, and long, and that there is a difference between follower versus audience versus buyer. I hope this video was helpful. My name is Aliana Kali. I'm founder of Brands Are Live. I make a video like this every week, so if you're not seeing this through the Saturday Mojo newsletter or from brandsarealive.com, then go to brandsarealive.com/newsletters. Check it out, and I invite you to subscribe to get a video like this every week. And I hope I was able to serve you today. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.